Lively's letter yesterday to the court in response to the MJOP tells me that they are scrambling. They are not happy that the Wayfarer parties filed the MJOP, and they are doing anything they can to get out of responding to it. The problem is they did respond to it. This could be read as their opposition. If I were the Wayfarer parties, I would say, well, in response to the opposition, I would file my reply brief. Their opposition is, your MJOP is untimely, and that's it. And they preview some other arguments that they might make one day if they wanted to actually oppose the MJOP, but they don't actually make those arguments and flesh those out. So the document reads as an opposition to the MJOP because it explicitly asks the court to deny it on the grounds that they think it's untimely. They say, in the alternative, we'll take an extension of time to properly brief this. So this is your opposition. You're saying it's untimely, and that's the grounds why it should be denied flat out. And you're saying, well, if you're not going to grant us that, then we want more time. That's not how motion practice works. What they should have done is just say flat out, we need more time to respond to this and flesh out why they think it's going to cause delay. That is the crux of their argument, by the way. They're saying that the Wayfarer parties filing this MJOP is going to somehow cause delay of the trial. I don't see anywhere in this document explaining how exactly responding to the MJOP is going to cause delay. Certainly, it seems like it's going to cause headaches for them because they have all these depositions lined up in the coming weeks. They have all this work to do to complete discovery, and they don't want to have to deal with a gigantic motion that could completely decimate their case. I can understand that, but I don't see anywhere here that says that just merely opposing this would create delay. It's not like a summary judgment motion where you would need to put evidence and it's a whole thing. This is simply a legal argument. This is simply you saying how you have the legal grounds to bring the case that you did. Interestingly, one of their gripes is that the Wayfarer parties have known these arguments apparently for 9 months, which begs the question, did you know these arguments for the past 9 months? And if you did, why did you bring these claims? They really want to get to a summary judgment because they want to put evidence. That's what they want to deal with. They don't want to deal with something that could hurt their claims at the legal pleading stage. My suspicion is that they want to move the court to amend their complaint to add new claims. So my suspicion is that they wanted to come to the court and say, we did all of this discovery, and actually we have all these other new claims that we want to add, or we want to amend our complaint to conform it to the discovery that we obtained, which is something that happens, is something that in cases could happen, not typical. But that's probably where they were going, is that they wanted to do that, and this just stops that in its tracks. Now they dug their heels in. They're like, Your Honor, this trial is in March, and that's why we can't answer this. But it's another trust me bro argument, the second one in a week. They need to show good cause. The closest thing they get to that is to say, look at all these depositions that we have scheduled. We can't possibly, this giant firm Wilkie Farr and this giant firm Manat Phelps with hundreds and thousands of lawyers, we cannot possibly respond to this motion when we have all these depositions. I call bullshit. Then in their last line, they say if the court is going to permit full briefing, yes, the court is going to permit full briefing. Parties are entitled to bring motions, and there will be full briefing. There's no skirting of that. What they should have done is couch this letter only as a motion for an extension, not as their opposition. So if I was the Wayfarer parties, I'd be like, too late, you already opposed, these are your arguments. Now that's not going to happen, and the Wayfarer parties wouldn't do that because it's in the interest of everyone that this gets fully briefed and properly decided by the court. And barring further explanation for why this October 27th date is necessary for the Lively parties, I don't see why the court would grant this. The only thing that really piqued my curiosity about this filing is footnote 2. And in footnote 2, it says that It Ends With Us movie LLC was not named in the original CRD, which was the Wayfarer's argument. They're saying that actually Lively filed an amended complaint with the CRD, and that happened during the pendency of this action, meaning during the lawsuit. They don't say that it was months ago. They don't say that it was yesterday or 2 hours before filing this letter. They just say that there was an amended CRD that presumably added It Ends With Us movie LLC. So I haven't seen that. If any of you have seen it somewhere or know where to find it, I didn't dig, but if you have an easy way for me to find it, I'm very curious to read that, because had there been an amended complaint and Wayfarer knew about that, then it would be strange for them to make the argument that they did. So presumably they don't know about it, or it just happened. So super curious. Anyone that can sleuth to find that, extra points to you. In any case, the whole premise of an MJOP is to streamline the claims before summary judgment, before trial. It is a mechanism of judicial efficiency. And for them to argue that it is wasteful for the court to consider it is actually kind of laughable. I could see the court giving them an extra week to respond because they said they have all these depositions. But all the way to October 27th, I don't think so, because then that gets really close to the summary judgment deadline, and then that's inefficient. I'm sure we will see a Wayfair response to this today.